What's up, everyone? Welcome to Speaks and Eats, where we have delicious food and great conversation. As you may or may not know, we had like a little series on one of our channels last year, and since doing it, we wanted to kind of make a dedicated channel to Speaks and Eats. I don't know, we may or may not turn it into a podcast depending on like the sound. Like if it's too much food sounds, then it would just be a video series. But yeah, this is our space to just chat about things, anything that we want, honestly, any topic, and just have some good food.
Right.
Today we have some butter chicken, and we're doing Indian food, some naan, some garlic naan, and some basmati rice. Right?
With some Cabernet Sauvignon.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Can't go wrong with a glass of wine.
Right.
So if you're watching this, grab your glass, get you some food, and let's chit chat.
Let's chit chat.
Ooh, I'm so excited to eat, y'all. I am so hungry.
Starving.
I'm like, super hungry too.
Yeah, this looks so good.
Yeah, so we decided that we're going to talk about kind of like New Year goals and, you know, kind of just graze 2020 a little bit.
Right.
So yeah, let's dig in.
All right. So first you got to get the first bite.
Yeah, you have to get it bite. Right? You have to get
and
the
I guess
bite.
I'm going to get the butter chicken with the rice. First,
tell us, guys,
before I touch the naan.
What is your favorite Indian food?
Wow.
Butter chicken is just amazing. Like, I just think it's so creative.
This is my second time having butter chicken. And it's my favorite Indian food. Apart from my Trini Indian food, you already know it's bust up shop curry chicken, but
child, so good.
Goodness,
so good. And naan, oh my god. Anyway, so
get the naan too. Get the naan. Wait, hold on.
2020 recap. I feel like a lot of us have different stories that came out of 2020. You know, there are people who use the year to catapult themselves to you know, hustle, and then some of us who were dealt different cards, you know, and I don't think that one is better than the next. I see so many posts on social media where people kind of like make it seem
on
like
one side
you
of it,
have to, if your 2020 was not like this, then you know,
then what were you doing?
Yeah. But the reality is a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people had family members who passed away as a result of the coronavirus and all of these other things, you know. So I just think that we need sympathy for everyone, you know, like celebrate your wins, but don't kind of downplay the seriousness of the issue,
right? You
know, because a lot of people had a tough hand of cards, you know. So yeah, I think for us in general, 2020, it started off kind of really gloomy because we were like, what the F? We just moved to a new city, you guys. We had
so many
baby.
hopes. Like, we just had a baby, moved to a new city. We're like, yo, we're going to go to Atlanta. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. It's going to be amazing. And then it's like, no, you got to stay in the house.
We just had a baby and we moved to a new city where we know no one. That's the next thing. So we had no family here. On top of that, the borders, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, the borders in Trinidad have been closed since March 2020. So I wasn't able to go see family. So many people had not met our son yet, all of that. So I was looking forward to it. And that was just like taken away from me. So it was a roller coaster. It just looked really grim at the start. And, you know, I feel like somewhere like May or so, we decided, you know, we have to change our mindset. We have to attack this, because if we don't, like, we're gonna sit down and be in a position where things are happening to us,
and you're not the cause of it. It's just like happening.
That's what, you know, we set out to do. I feel like my mic is too low, and every time I lean forward, it's stinging. Hold on.
But yeah, like you're saying, first of all, I want to say, like, anyone who went through the entire year of 2020 and came out to 2021, you know, thank God that you did it. Because despite anyone's personal circumstance. Everybody had their things, and it was just a tough, trying year. And I think it's been a year where a lot of people have realized what it is that they want to do.
Yeah.
They've ignited new passions. They've, changed their careers, and maybe it's something that they would have never done, and that they're happy they've done. A lot of people have been able to cope with and deal with a lot of the stresses and things that happen just by going through this year and not expecting or knowing what's coming next. Just build a sense of, I feel like, resilience in a lot of people.
And even if like your life didn't take off in one way, I feel like everyone has gained strength from this.
Oh yeah.
You're still standing.
100%.
Just keep that mindset that things are going to get better, and not just a mindset, but like do things as well. If you can have good people around you, all those things, like you can do different things in different areas of your life to get you where you want to be. And I feel like it was a year of us trying different things as well, and kind of like settling on what it is we want. Like it was an eye-opening because it's like, what do you do when you have all these things on your shoulder? Like, how do you want to live your life? That's what I felt. Like it was about my joy.
Yeah. What do you do when your back is against the wall? Like when, just an analogy, when a mouse back is against the wall, what do? They attack. And it's like, when all of these pressures are coming against you, and it's like, what do? I had all these other plans. It's like, you have to attack. And I think, back to what you were saying, like around May or whatever of 2020, I think that's when we realized, okay, we're in the house, but we have this platform and we have all of these other things that we can do from home. And we just kicked it into overdrive.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, guys. It's still a struggle. Like I'm still...
especially with a baby, guys.
Oh my goodness. It's not just that, it's mentally draining as well, because emotionally draining. Like, I want to see my family.
Right.
I literally cannot go home.
It's crazy.
It's so sad.
It's crazy.
But yeah, going forward in 2021, we have set our goals, we've created our vision boards, we've set our intentions, we've, planned some things, not too far ahead. Our system this year is to kind of like take it quarterly. Because goals change. Sometimes you reach something sooner than you thought, and now you have to make a new goal. So we decided that we're gonna, set shorter goals
every quarter
and try to build on that. So yeah,
guys. Apart from talking about 2020 and new goals, if you haven't had some butter naan and butter chicken, I'm just sitting here like.
You mean garlic naan?
Oh yeah, garlic naan.
When you like dip that naan in butter chicken,
so good. Oh my god. If you haven't,
it's so
please
no.
Go to your Google, type in Indian food near me, and get you some butter chicken and garlic naan.
I need some naan in my life.
And let us know how it tasted, and if you have had it before, let us know. One thing that you said that's important is like, no matter what the year is, no matter what time of the year it is like setting those short-term goals, because I feel like setting those, it gets you to the ultimate goal. It's like you have to set these little blocks and accomplish that so that you can get to that major goal that you think is impossible. You like chip away at it.
And that's something that 2020 taught us, because we would plan like for an entire year and be so sad and just like stressed when we don't hit goals. And what we started doing was like making weekly goals. And the momentum you have just to get that short-term goal done really kicks you into overdrive. And like doing that and just seeing the results like as it's happening, it's just like, oh my goodness, it's just this adrenaline that's like, okay, we need to keep this up for 2021. Like that adrenaline is like no other.
I think it also ties into that whole law of manifestation, or just making things happen in your life. It's like when you constantly see it, when you constantly have it in mind, it happens. But when you say, for instance, you do a New Year party where you set your vision board or your goals. You put it in a notebook and just toss the book in under your bed or something. Yeah, there may be things on that list that you do look back and be like, oh wow, I wrote this down and I actually have it. But if you keep focused on it, if you see it, it can happen a lot faster because you're constantly putting that energy out there that this is what I want, versus you put it out one time and leave it.
Listen, I feel like I was kind of like that in the beginning. And this was a few years ago where it's just kind of like you see all these people with like manifestation and you're just like, ugh, rolled eyes. Like, to me, I've always had an issue with people who are too optimistic. Like, I don't think I was naturally an optimistic person. I still am not. Like, I don't exude optimism, I think. I'm kind of like an indifferent type person. If you meet me, I'm more indifferent. So, getting into manifestation, it was just like, why are they so positive? And it was just like that. But it works. It absolutely works. And I'm going to be one of those people for you today and tell you that it works. And you don't even have to go as far as meditating. You don't have to go as far as getting stones and sage. And you don't even have to do that. Just make a vision board. Just write your goals down. Stick it up somewhere. Like, that's all. You don't have to do all of that.
It's crazy, right? Because when we first met, I think I was more of that, like, optimistic kind. And the tables at one point, I think, flipped, where I was being extra, like, oh, blah, blah. And then, I had to just
very true.
Wake up to be like, okay. And I think over the last few months when we started making these goals and
crushing,
I see like, oh wow, we're crushing them and this is happening. It sort of like caused me to return back to that mindset, which is great. Yeah.
And my thing has always been with him is that don't wait till you see results to get in that frame of mind, because you are sabotaging yourself in the interim. So you have to get yourself into that state of mind. That's that as if behavior yours.
Yeah, act as if. Act as if I'm rich. Act as if I'm healthy. Act as if it's already done. Who
knew I'd be like in manifestation mode in this video? But you're really.
Well, when you talk about goals, that's all the same thing. And when you said that you don't have to meditate, right?
You don't.
It's like you don't have to sit there and be like, right? But then, what is meditation? It's just really thought. Right? So it's like you don't have to be so rigid into like what you think it is. Just have the thought. That's meditating. That's thinking of it. Having that one goal in your mind. Everybody has their own process of doing things. Everything isn't. You can reach the same goal 2 different ways. You know what I'm saying? So,
man, more than 2. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. So this year, I just have when you start seeing results from even like small things, it lets you know that big things are possible.
Oh yeah.
So this year I have even bigger goals, and it's gonna happen.
A long food pause is just
so good.
Burst of flavor. That's one thing I love about Indian food. It's like it's so much flavor. It's ridiculous.
Okay, so I can't.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I can't like fully quote this thing, but I know I read somewhere that. Okay, I can't fully quote it.
But just give what is it?
After a few chews, I don't know how many it was. You don't really get that sense that you get when you first bite something and it's really, really good. But with every bite, this is really, really good to me. So, yeah.
It's like a burst of flavor. I was gonna say.
I made a mess.
When I was young, there were a lot of foods that I would eat, and I'll be like, oh man, I love this. It tastes so good, right? And then after having things like Indian food, Trinidadian food, all these different things that I didn't have growing up, when I go back to those foods, it's not the same. It's like the flavor ain't there. Nothing.
I have no comment because people are gonna say I bias. So
nothing against the food I grew up on. Like I'm grateful for it, but when you open, broaden your horizons and try new things, you get to
expand your palate. Guys.
Yeah, you expand your palate. Same thing with wine. This is Cabernet Sauvignon, and the first wine, like many of you, that I had was like a sweet wine, and I couldn't do like a Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah, me too.
But I like it now.
I love it. A favorite. But what was I going to say? That's another reason I wanted to do Speaks and Eats, guys, because I really want to try new things. We are very fond of like the idea of traveling and getting into other cultures and stuff, and I think food is one of the best ways.
Food is like the biggest part
to get
of someone's
yourself
culture.
into a culture. So there may be things we haven't tried and we're going to try them. This is not a Popeyes,
right? Church's Chicken, McDonald's, all of that stuff.
Kind of mukbang thing.
It's not. I mean, it's food, right?
This is a really mukbang channel. If you guys are interested. So if you're watching this and you're from another,
do suggest.
What is the word?
Recommend.
Ethnicity.
Oh.
Recommend. Let us know what's your favorite dish.
And just like.
Oh baby, sauce. I don't have sauce. Yes.
Just like broadening your horizon with food, you have to do the same thing in life. Like how it ties into what this conversation is about setting goals, and about how also 2020 may have unlocked different things in you. There's a girl I follow on Instagram that had no desire. I wouldn't say no desire, but she never like baked. Right? Until 2020, and now she's like this amazing baker, like she's making these amazing cakes, and I'm like, oh my God. So it's like, try something new. You never know what your talents are. Like, you know what some of them are, but you don't know what other talents you can unlock by trying things.
And if you're still wounded, beaten, broken, I urge you to just try like calming your mind. Try focusing on the things that you want. And that's all.
There's one last thing I want to say.
I can't say it's going to be
easy.
Right. I don't know what anyone's situation is, but just try it.
That was good.
It's so good.
Okay, so my last statement is, I was on Netflix scrolling, and there's this new series called, was it Death to 2020? And I don't know what it's about. I didn't watch it, so I can't judge it. But there is this thing that the media is doing, like saying, 2020 was the worst year ever, all of these things.
I mean, it was in some ways.
It was horrible.
Of course it was.
But at the same time, it's so easy to say that and see all the negative, right? But my message to you and message to myself is like, try to reminisce and just focus on the positive things that took place in your life. If it was more time with your family, whatever it was, focus on that, because negativity brings more negativity to your life. And I don't say that to negate anything that happened in 2020, but it's just like, stay positive.
Absolutely.
And that's today's Speaks and Eats.
That's it, you guys. Let us know what you want us to talk about in the comments below. Let us know if you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers to life. We should have cheers before, but 1 cup. All right, guys, we out.
Peace.